The movie begins with a doll flying into a window. It had a delicate pink dress, soft brown hair, and with a white flower pin, and black button eyes. We could see someone with needle hands trying to adjust the doll to look like someone. When it's done, it has now blue hair, a yellow raincoat, and black button eyes. They open the window again and let it fly away to its new home. Hit that intro. We then see a new family moving into the Pink Palace, a big old house divided into 3 apartments. We also meet a protagonist, Coraline Jones, who looks exactly the same as the doll from the beginning, except for the button eyes. She's an adventurous and curious young girl. While trying to find an old well, she encounters a friendly cat and some other kid named YB.
Let me guess.
Coraline is visibly annoyed by YB because he believes that she's a water witch. He was also unable to pronounce her name properly.
It's Coraline.
Caroline what?
Coraline Jones.
Their conversation is interrupted by YB's grandma calling him for dinner. YB's grandma is actually the owner of the Pink Palace. She never lets any kids into the house for an unknown reason, which is why YB found it weird that Coraline's family moved in. Back at Coraline's home, we're introduced to Coraline's mom. She was just in a car accident, so she's really focused on her work. Coraline is pissed because both of her parents' work has to do with gardening, but she's not allowed to go outside because of the mud. While her mom was telling her to unpack, her mom remembered that she found something at the front door. It was a gift from YB. The gift was the same doll from the beginning of the movie. Apparently, YB found it in his grandma's stuff, and since the doll looked exactly like Coraline, he gave it to her. Since her mom did not approve of her gardening, Coraline moved to the next option, her dad. Just like her mom, he's also a work addict. He was desperate to get Coraline out of the room so he could continue concentrating on his work. He came up with an idea to make Coraline count all the doors, windows, and anything blue, her dad's favorite color.
One boring blue boy in a painfully boring painting.
At the end of her search, she ends up losing the doll YB gave her. Coraline spotted her hidden behind a cardboard box. While trying to get it, she saw something weird behind the box. Instinctively, she moved in to find one more door. Coraline begged her mom to open it. But once it opened, the door was covered by a brick wall.
Bricks?
Later that night, Coraline continues to hate her life because the food her dad cooks looks just like poison, so she decides to go to bed without eating that atrocious food. In the middle of the night, she hears some weird noises. She wakes up to find mice. Coraline, being curious, follows them. The mice go into a little door, which was previously covered by bricks. However, now it's a beautiful blue tunnel that leads into another house. This house looks identical to Coraline's house before the tunnel, but this one is more adjusted to Coraline's liking. The house is clean, the food smells nice, and her parents are just the way she wants them to be. Coraline encounters her mom in the kitchen. Here is where Coraline realizes that something is wrong. Not only because her mom is cooking, but also because she now has buttons instead of eyes. She tells Coraline that she is her mom, but improved. Not to get them both confused, she refers herself as the other mom. Since the food she was cooking is now done, she asks Coraline to go get her dad, so they all could eat at the same time. Coraline finds her dad in a study room, but we don't see him the same as he is before. Instead, he's much more playful. He even sings a song just for Coraline with the help of his self-playing piano. At dinner, Coraline is fascinated by everything her other parents prepared for her. However, the other mother was completely opposite from what the real mother is, which kind of freaked Coraline out. To calm her down, her parents brought her to her room, which is now just like she always wanted it to be. She realized that this world is everything she ever wanted and even more.
Can't wait till summer.
We're already here, Coraline.
When she wakes up, she's back to her original home. She hates this life. She attempts to go with her other parents, but the little door is closed. Astonished by last night, Coraline tells everything to her parents. They both don't believe her. They make jokes out of it instead. Again, her mom wanted to get rid of Coraline to have a relaxation moment, so she sends Coraline downstairs to the neighbors, Miss Bink and Miss Forcible. Before Coraline could go downstairs to her neighbors, she encountered the mail at her front door. All the mail was being sent to Mr. Bobinski, so she went to deliver it to him. When she got to his door, no one answered, so she opened the door, but was stopped by Mr. Bobinski shutting the door right in her face. He tells Coraline that the circus mice are still preparing and no one can see them during this time. Mr. Bobinski is not like any ordinary man. He's extremely flexible and strong. When Coraline left, Mr. Bobinski came back. He told her that the mice said not to go through the little door.
Do not go through little door.
At Miss Pink and Miss Forcible's place, Coraline can't help but notice the number of dogs, especially the dead ones, on the shelves. Back in their time, both of them were extremely talented acrobats, but with aging, they just stay home with their dogs. They both tell Coraline that they will tell her her future through some drink. When Miss Pink was reading her future, she saw a hand and told Coraline that she was in terrible danger. Miss Forcible disagreed with her as she saw a giraffe.
I see a giraffe.
It's a giraffe!
Coraline didn't have time to tell them what happened last night because she had seen enough of them. When she was coming out of Miss Pink and Miss Forcible's apartment, Coraline bumps into YB. He reveals that he has never been inside the Pink Palace because his grandma would kill him if he does. While Coraline and him kept talking, the cat noticed that the doll was leaning into the window as if it were listening. Cat knew exactly what was going on. At night, Coraline put some cheese in her room to attract the mice again so she could hopefully go back to her other parents, which did work. She again meets her other mother cooking. Her other mother lets her know that the surprise her father prepared for her is in the garden. Curiously, Coraline went to the garden and spotted her dad gardening. Once her dad was finished, he took her to show her the garden from above. Through this point of view, Coraline saw her own face in the garden. While eating, her other mother told her that the show Mr. Bobinski planned for her and her guest, the other YB. This YB is much different as he cannot talk, just what Coraline wanted. Mr. Bobinski's show did not fail to amaze Coraline. The longer she stayed in this world, the more she loved it. Coraline wakes up again in her original house. She was frustrated. She went to check the little door again, but this time it was actually locked. Coraline finds out that her mother locked it because she was worried for Coraline from all the stories she keeps telling them. Later that day, Coraline and her mother go shopping for clothes for her new school. She spots some gloves and she falls immediately in love with them. However, her mom refused to get them for her, which made Coraline angry on the car ride back home. Her mom saw that there was no food, so she went back to the road to find something to eat. Coraline saw this as a chance to unlock the little door again. When she unlocked it, the door was not bricked. There was actually a tunnel. Coraline got very excited and she decided to go in again. Through the window, the cat saw her. He seemed very disappointed. At the other house, Coraline found a kitchen table full of delicious food, a gift, and a note from the other mother. The note said that Coraline was invited to Miss Pink and Miss Forcible's performance, while the gift was an outfit her other mother made just for Coraline. On the way to the show, Coraline encounters a cat very similar to the cat back in her world. She believes it is the other cat.
The other cat.
No, I'm not the other anything. I'm me.
Cat says that he is the one back from her real world. The only difference is that he can talk in this world. Cat tries to warn Coraline that she should not get too fond of this world as it could be a trap. When Coraline finally makes it to the show, she's amazed by the audience, which is full of dogs except for the other YB. The show begins with the older Miss Pink and Miss Forcible.
I'm known as the siren, hope to lead sailors astray.
Everything seems to go great until they start competing for singing time. It seems like the show was an absolute failure. Until both of them unzip their skin, revealing their younger selves. Here's where the real show begins. They start to do their tricks in the air and end up grabbing Coraline. They flip Coraline across the stage, making her experience even more enjoyable. However, Coraline was struck by the lights. She tried her best to hold on, but she ended up losing her grip. To her luck, Miss Pink caught her just in time for the finale of the show. Everyone in the audience cheered and threw roses at them. Back at home, the other mother told Coraline that she could stay here forever, but on one condition, which was to sew buttons on her eyes. Coraline refused. The longer the other parents talked about it, the more Coraline got freaked out. She decided to just go to bed so she would be teleported to her house. But it didn't go as expected. When she woke up, she was still in the other world. Coraline was horrified. She went downstairs to go through the little door, but the door to the living room was locked. She went looking for answers, so she asked her other dad. Accidentally spoke too much and told her about the things the other mother has done. Coraline kept on getting more and more scared, so she ran away. While trying to run away, Coraline found out that the other mother only makes what would impress Coraline, as most of the world was just blank. During her attempt, Cat encountered her. They talked about the other mother's intent. which made Coraline believe that the other mother doesn't care about her. She only wants her soul. Since there is barely anything in the world, Coraline ended up coming back to the house as she walked around the world. She made it her goal to get out of there. She finally made her way to the living room, but the little door was blocked by the walk-in closet. The furniture starts to light up, revealing the other mother waiting for Coraline. Coraline begins to speak up to the other mother, which infuriates her.
1, 2, 3!
The other mother changed. She is much taller and skinnier now. She tried to teach a lesson to Coraline by locking her in the mirror, saying that she would only get out when she learns to be a loving daughter. Inside the mirror, Coraline comes across 3 ghosts, which were the other mother's previous victims. One of the ghosts looks exactly like the doll we saw at the beginning of the movie. They tell Coraline that none of them remember their names. They only remember their real moms. They got trapped in this world because the other mother lured them in. She saw that none of them were happy, so she did everything they wanted to gain their trust. Even after everything the other mother did, they still wanted more. So, the other mother told them to sew buttons on their eyes if they wanted to stay in this world forever. Just like how she told Coraline, sewing the buttons on their eyes was not as simple as it seems, because it was actually the other mother eating their souls. Coraline tells the ghosts her goal to escape. They take this chance to ask her to find their eyes so their souls can be free. Coraline gets startled by a pair of hands taking her out of the mirror. She tries to defend herself until she sees the other YB. He quickly takes her to a little door to get her out of this world. Coraline refuses to leave without him, but he showed her his disappearing body. YB pushed her into the tunnel as the other mother's coming down the stairs. She made it back to her real world safely.
I'm home! Anybody here? Hello?
But something is odd. Her parents were gone.
That's disgusting.
YB comes to the door and asks Coraline to give the doll back. Here, Coraline connects all the information she has. She realizes that his grandma's missing sister was one of the ghosts. In fact, we saw her doll at the beginning. Coraline failed to find the doll, so YB just left because she kept talking about the other mother.
You're the jerkwad that gave me the doll!
Coraline goes down to Miss Spink and Miss Forcible's house in the hope that they could help her find her parents. Miss Forcible gets some candy and Miss Spink grabs some sticks and starts poking it, leaving a green triangle with a circle in the middle. Miss Spink says,
They're good for bad things.
while Miss Forcible says,
Oh, they're good for lost things.
Back at home, Coraline goes to sleep with some pillows in the shape of her parents. She was awakened by the cat. He knew where her parents were. He took Coraline to the mirror where she was locked in before, except this mirror is actually in her world. In the mirror, we saw her parents freezing and asking for help. Coraline gets frustrated, so she shatters the mirror into pieces. The cat then leads her into the bedroom where he pulls out the doll from under the bed. However, the doll is different now. On one side, it has Coraline's mom, on the other side, her dad's. Coraline decides to burn the doll so the other mother won't be able to spy on them anymore. She also realizes that she has to go back to the other world if she wants to get her parents back. She gets ready and goes into the tunnel. Kat warns her that this is a trap. She knew about it and she's willing to take the risk. Kat told her that she should challenge the other mother because she loves games. The door suddenly opens, revealing Coraline's mom.
Coraline! Mom!
But in reality, it's the other mother in disguise. A mouse only appears and gives the key to the other mother, and she eats it since it's the only key. Coraline heads to the kitchen to talk to the other mother. She tells the other mother about her game idea. Her goal was to find the eyes of the missing children and her parents. The conditions of the game were simple. If Coraline loses, she has to stay in the world and let the other mother sew buttons on her eyes. If she wins, everyone is able to go. Her parents, the children, and everyone she has trapped. Also, Coraline agreed as long as the other mother gave her clues, she would play the game. The first clue led her to the garden. The plants begin to attack her. They try and take the green charm Miss Spink and Miss Forcible gave her. This makes Coraline curious, so she looked through the circle and everything turned black and white until she saw a red circle. All of a sudden, the other dad appeared and began to attack her. He was being forced to do it by the other mother. When he got out of her grip, he took the red ball and gave it to Coraline. When she took it, she saw one of the ghosts and tells her that there are 2 more remaining. Coraline is now making her way to Miss Spink and Miss Forcible's house. She goes into the theater and sees a candy in the middle of the stage. She uses the green charm again and spots a blue circle now. She attempts to grab the circle out of the hand, but Miss Spink and Miss Forcible wake up and start going after her. She was set free by Coraline throwing her flashlight onto the ceiling where the bats were, and the theater turns black and white, just like the garden. When she grabs the ball, the ghost tells her to hurry. For the last ghost eye, she is now heading to Mr. Bobinski's house. On her way there, she sees the moon being covered by a button, which is basically the timer the other mother set for her. When Coraline gets to the door, she saw Wybie's clothes dangling. The door to the house opened, revealing Mr. Bobinski. He showed her a ball, which was proven to be the last eye with the green charm. Coraline keeps following him until the circus mice come out of his body. Coraline failed to get the last eye as she fell off the house. She thought all hope was lost until Cat appeared and gave her the ball after killing the mice. The world is now black and white since Coraline got hold of the last ghost eye. The moon is fully covered by the button. Everything begins to go away. Cat and Coraline rush back into the house. The only thing left is to find her parents. In the living room, the other mother was sitting there, waiting for Coraline to come back. She took the green charm and burned it so it would be more difficult for Coraline to find her parents. One of the ghosts told Coraline that even if she won, the other mother would never let her go. Smartly, she tells the other mother that her parents were behind the other door. She tricked her into opening the door. While she was opening the door, Coraline spots her parents in a snow globe.
Mom, Dad.
She attempts to escape by throwing the cat onto the other mother. The cat scratched her eyes, making her go blind. This got her really annoyed and made the room look like a spider web. Coraline began to climb up while the other mother fell. While climbing, she got stuck, making the web shake. This made her know exactly where she was. Coraline successfully got into the tunnel, but the other mother has an incredible grip. The ghosts help her shut the door, but part of the other mother's hand was left inside the tunnel. Coraline locks the door, but it begins to move with a green light coming out of it. You could hear her desperately yelling. Coraline made it back to the real house. She locked the door again and saw the snow globe her parents were locked in, now broken. Suddenly, her parents come out and tell everything went well at their job. Coraline tells them about the snow on their clothes, but they can't seem to see it. They actually cannot remember being locked by the other mother. At night, her parents were bonding with her, which made her extremely happy. Her mom gave her the gloves Coraline wanted at the store. While trying them on, she saw the cat at the window. She opened the window and let him inside the bedroom. Coraline placed the ghost's eyes under the pillow to set them free. The ghost appeared in her dreams and thanked her for helping them. However, they also warned her about the danger she is in now. They tell her that no matter what, the other mother will find the key since there's only one of them. She wakes up and decides to hide the key. Cat tries to stop her, but she set her mind to it. While she's walking down the hall, we can see the hand of the other mother escaping through the little door, which starts following Coraline to the well. When the hand sees the well, it goes and grabs Coraline and drags her back into the house, until Wybie came out and helped Coraline. Wybie almost fell down the well but was able to climb up. While Coraline was grabbing the hand, Wybie threw a rock onto the hand, making it shatter to pieces. Coraline placed the rock and the hand into the blanket and tied it with the key. They both proceed by throwing the blanket into the well. Wybie gets called by his grandma again. He gets scared because he doesn't know what he should tell her. Destroying a moving hand doesn't seem believable. Coraline tells him to bring his grandma to the garden so they could both tell her what happened. The next day, everyone is in the garden. Coraline, her parents, Miss Spink, Miss Forcible, Mr. Bobinski, Wybie, and his grandma. Coraline approaches Wybie and his grandma to begin telling her the story. The next thing we see is Cat going through one of the portals back into the other world. And that's it.